Hello everyone. So as we know in Cavan, and we can see it with our own eyes across County Cavan, particularly in places like I would say Ballyjim stuff, particularly like places like Beltobert, in some cases in Cavan town too, that we've seen the decline of these towns that used to be vibrant towns back in the day are now pretty much dead towns. And particularly Beltobert and Ballyjim stuff would come to mind, Black Lion too, other places like that would pretty much come to mind too, that they're pretty much dead. There's nothing really happening in them, particularly in Beltobert. Beltobert, as you know, back in the day used to be thriving. But nowadays, I went through Beltobert a few days ago, and I didn't come across one on the main street. I came across cows, but there was not one person walking around in the whole Beltobert. Like when I went up the main street, nobody was around, it was dead. And a lot of things in Beltobert have closed. A lot of shops have closed. There used to be a huge amount of shops. I even remember 30 years ago, there used to be more shops, etc. More people, more businesses open, things for people to do. Nowadays, there's nothing. It's just dead. It used to be dance hall, etc. in Beltobert that closed down years and years ago. But what I'm trying to say, it's a dead place pretty much now in Beltobert now, apart from a few bars and a few shops. There's nothing really there for people. There's nothing at all really there. And it's a sad thing to say, and then we look at Ballyjim stuff. There's so many shops, it has happened, so many businesses in Ballyjim stuff. The shop fronts are there, but the businesses are gone, long gone. And it's the same in Cavan. There's so many places that are empty shops. They use that businesses there, and they're gone. All replaced in Cavan town pretty much by betting shops, by phone repair shops, by vape shops. It's absolutely insane. A lot of these places, I don't know where they get the money or how they're making any money to make a living, but we're not allowed to ask them questions, unfortunately, because logic. But even places like Baileybo and stuff, it's dead. In Cachill even itself, I remember Cachill. I used to love going to Cachill. We used to go there to the middle chapel in Cachill. My relatives would be buried there and stuff, but it would be a day out to see the grave and to go and tidy the grave up, and then we would go for something to eat in Sean's Diner in Cachill. And even that, there was a toy shop used to be in Cachill too. I used to love going into it every time, buy me Thomas trains, stuff. The good memories of that. But even back 10 years ago, Cachill used to have a lot more things going on. I walked through Cachill there about a year ago, the main street of Cachill. There's just deadness. It's just deadness. What I mean by that is there's not that much going on. There's no really shops. The majority of shops, a lot of them are closed and just gone and never to open again, unfortunately. But Cachill there's no vibe in Cachill at all anymore. Years ago, used to be a vibe in it, but nowadays it's dead. And it's unfortunate, the sad state of rural Ireland. Same what's happened, not even in Cavan, in Clonus, in County Monaghan. It's just dead. It's just completely dead. There's nothing going on in it. And it's a sad thing to say, because years ago these towns used to be thriving. Used to be like gushing money. They would have so much money they didn't know what to do with it. And it's a sad thing to say, and it is really, really sad, because it's just a decline in Cavan. And not even that, in Killashandra too. It's just dead. Yeah, like everything I used to go, like all the towns I used to go to, when I was younger, and 10 years ago even, used to be fun and stuff. Used to be people about. Nowadays, you find nobody. You find nobody walking the streets. As I say, in Beltobert that time, I walked up the whole main street from the bottom of the Beltobert beside the hall there. And from the GA pitch, you came down towards the hall that way, and then up the main street, up by the Guards Barracks, etc. Up towards the library, the spire, the sphere, I suppose they call it too. And there's nobody, and this was at about 2 o'clock in the day, and there's nobody about. And this was a walk day too. There was nobody about. To see nobody, like quite literally seeing nobody, seeing people in cars, but there was nobody walking around. You'd think in the big town, like Beltobert with 1,000 people or so, there'd be people walking around and stuff, but it was just totally dead. Like nobody around at all. It's the same in Killashandra. I was in Killashandra about 3 weeks ago. And nobody. And Killashandra obviously smaller than Beltobert and stuff, but there's nobody around. Like the streets are empty. There's nobody to be found. I came across maybe 2 people. I was there for maybe nearly half an hour, and I came across about 2 people walking around. That was it. And, it's completely dead, unfortunately. The same with the majority of towns in Cavan. And it's down to a lot of things. A lot of people don't have the income nowadays to go out to the pub and go out to shops and go out to different places. A lot of people don't have the money. Simple as that. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think a lot of people are too scared to be out and about, because anything could happen in this country to somebody. Somebody could be killed just by walking on the street. And that's the sad thing to say, but this is the truth. And then the third thing, I don't know. I think it's a lot of new people who came into Cavan that are just not interested in the county and going out and about, etc. And it's a really shame. And not even that. So the biggest issue of all is that the decline of Cavan, the decline of our towns, our villages, It was all brought about by the government. A lot of these businesses were Irish businesses. They wanted to destroy them, the Irish government. And that's what happened. And then after the 2008 collapse, the majority of businesses went bust. And that was the end of that. But what I'm trying to say, there was never any help in getting them towns back on their feet. What I'm trying to say, the towns were basically just abandoned. The government just basically said, fuck you, so off we go, we're going to help these phone shops. So that's what really much what the government said, we're going to help them people. We're not going to help, somebody that's doing traditional Irish businesses. We're not going to do that. We're doing it backwards looking at your sovereignty. But yeah, it's just dead. It's sadly dead. And a lot of towns, like even Beltobed there, the other thing that killed Beltobed particularly is the bypass. The bypass did, and the same with Butler's Bridge here where I am. It's the bypass, because the bypass bypassed Butler's Bridge and Beltobed. You used to have to go through Beltobed and stuff, and obviously it would be a lot more traffic. Same with Butler's Bridge. But when the bypass started, it pretty much killed them two towns. Butler's Bridge still does well, but Beltobed, particularly, is very noticeable compared to years ago. But yeah, it's a shame because we have such a great county, we have such great people, we have such a great history. Such great history in our towns, in our villages across this country, across this county too. But unfortunately, it's been left to the wolves. Anyway, let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you think ever towns like this will ever get back their soul? Because I do think they've lost a bit of the soul. Let me know. Thank you.